It's only one you. So you have to be comfortable with yourself. And until you find out who you are and be comfortable with yourself, it's going to be a lot of things that's going to happen. And it's always a time where people are going to judge us, people are going to talk about us, people are going to talk about everything, but you have to be confident with yourself. Who else is in middle school that has something else? So we have people tease them, talk about certain people, gossip, what else?
Schoolwork.
Schoolwork. Okay, what about schoolwork?
It's harder, you have more classes and more responsibilities.
Okay. And so some people have that issue. So when it comes to that, and it's a lot more harder when you get to college. And the big reason why is because you're more free. And so your accountability is really up to you to go to the certain places. So when it comes to college, that's something that's huge. How many people have been down to a college campus? Is it a big difference than just being in a regular high school? Yeah. And so you have to go, and there's some high schools that are actually like campuses. So you really have to make sure you're around the right people, because if not, you'll find yourself lost, going to the wrong places, doing the wrong things, hanging with the wrong people, and different things like that. So when it comes to, think about things that may be at home, and I don't want you to share your personal story, but what are some factors that you think could stop someone from being successful when it comes to staying focused, whether it's middle school or elementary, that may go on at home? Anybody? So what are some things, just something that comes from the home that can stop people from being focused? Speak up. What you say?
When you get ready to go to school, somebody might make you mad, and if you may go to school mad.
Okay. So she said basically when you're at home and you wake up, then somebody can make you mad. So then you go to school and you be upset. And that's how many people had that happen to them before? That you wake up and you're already upset. I know I do, even if it's time to go to work, but you have to be able to brush it off. Because one thing you have to understand is this: you should never let nobody take control of your emotions. You know that's what happens, right? So if I'm sitting there and I'm making somebody made me upset, and I'm just so upset that I don't want nobody to say anything to me, anything somebody say I'm going to snap, that means I allow that other individual to take control of my emotions. And is that fair to me?
No.
It's not. So that's why we have to think about it. How many people know what their actual buttons is when it's time to push a button? That's that one thing or those two things that can make you tick. How many people know how to not let those buttons be pushed? And let's be honest. And she even laughed. She was like, no. Okay, and that's good. So, but that's what we have to do. Sometimes we allow other people, some of y'all probably, some of these boys in here, they'll say something and they'll push your button real quick. And then there you go, you upset. And you don't allow them to take full control, look at her, full control of your emotions. And y'all, some of y'all in middle school, some of y'all even, some of you younger ones. Some of us may watch certain TV shows that don't model the right things, maybe households, maybe environments, but you have to be bigger than your circumstance. And you have to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do when I get older. And these are some people that I need to be around. So even say if you look at maybe like your family and your friends, how many people have women that may be between the ages of 30 and 40 that you want to be like when you get older? Raise your hand up high. People that you want to be like when you get older, maybe they're like between 30 and 40. And so for those, how many people don't have those people? Okay, so my key thing to you is you have to find those people, just like coming to the Boys and Girls Club. That's a good thing. You know how many people be like, that's lame, I'm not going there. Why you go to the Boys and Girls Club? That's whack. But that has nothing to do with you. And so you're choosing. A lot of people can be outside just doing whatever, or at home doing whatever, but you're making that choice. Even if it's not just totally up to you, you're making that choice to say, I'm going to come here every day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to focus. I'm going to pay attention. I'm gonna listen to the staff. Because you have to be like, okay, I want more for myself. How many people want more for themselves? How many people are prepared and say that I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get more for myself? Okay, how many people who got older sisters? Okay, are they in high school or are they adults or what? How many people got grown sisters that's grown? Okay, and that's good. And so that's the key thing, because you gotta say, you think about it. Close your eyes and say, okay, 10 years from now, this is where I'm at. So wherever it's at, and I want about 2 to 3 volunteers. I want to know, where are you? What type of job you have? What does life look like for you? And how did you get there? So once again, 10 years from now, what does life look like for you? And how did you get there? Go ahead.
All I saw was darkness, so I don't know.
Darkness? Okay, we gotta bring some light to that. We don't want no darkness. Okay?
It feels like happiness inside of me.
You said what?
It feels like good happiness.
Okay, so happiness inside of you. What does happiness look like for you? Okay? Okay, so people being nice. What particular area are you at? Are you working? What type of job do you have? Okay. And that's the thing, because you can actually push towards your imagination. Somebody over here. Go ahead. So 10 years from now, you gotta, and that's, y'all have to dream big. You have to dream big, huge. There's a whole world out there. So tell me, so 10 years from now, what are you doing? Where are you at? Tell me how you got there.
10 years from now, I'm probably traveling.
Okay, traveling.
I'm probably helping others.
Okay.
And what was the last one?
Just how did you get there? So you're traveling, helping others, doing what? What are you doing?
I'm just helping others based off of how I know how it is.
Okay. So you're using your life example to give back, helping others. Okay. Are you giving back to, is there any specific places you're giving back to? Girls, a certain age? Do you want to travel to a certain place?
Probably Africa, because there's a lot of people who don't have, a lot of females and
Okay.
males who don't know, mostly females, who
Okay.
don't, especially with them in their bodies, and they're homeless and poor and stuff.
Okay. And that's good. So 10 years from, so you're traveling, you're helping the homeless, you're connecting with people, you're using your story, you know, to inspire others. And that's the key thing. So I want y'all to be able to dream big. You have to be able to dream big like that, because the bigger that you dream, the more vision you'll have. And the more you'll be able to see it. Just like you were saying, darkness. We don't want too many things that are darkness, because in today's world, y'all are faced with way too many things. I know Miss Bianca and I were just talking about that. You're exposed to so many different things that it's sometimes hard to just be a kid, because you have so many other things that you're exposed to. There you go. So 10 years from now, tell me what you're doing, where you at.
10 years from now, I want to open my own bakery.
Okay, talk louder because they can't hear you.
10 years from now, I want to open my own bakery, and I want to sell some sweets and
Okay. So 10 years from now, she's owning her own bakery. She wants to sell sweets. Are you in Cincinnati doing it?
I want to travel and
Mobile. So like a mobile. Okay, so she wants to take it around different places. She wants to sell sweets. You have a name for it yet? Okay, so I'm going to challenge you to get the name, okay? When I give you my information, I want you to call me with the name of it, okay? So she has her own bakery. So that's thinking about a business. How many people really think that they can think big 10 years from now and do it? And prepare yourself. Did you have it? Okay, so tell me. We got one more. So 10 years from now, what are you doing? Where you at? How did you get there? Tell me about it.
I graduated college and I'm a lawyer.
Yes.
I'm working on a bakery.
Oh, okay. So she graduated college, she's a lawyer, and she's working on a big case. Okay. So are you staying in Cincinnati?
Not in New York.
She's in New York. She's in New York. That's good. And that's very huge. So that's a challenge that I want y'all to have, is really dream big. How many people ever did a vision board? You know what a vision board is, or you've done it. Okay? So a couple of you. Awesome. Y'all have to make sure that you dream big and you focus on the end result. But in order to focus on that, you have to take those steps, and you cannot be afraid of the obstacles. You cannot be afraid to go through certain things, because sometimes it takes you to go through things to find out what life is really about, okay? How many questions? Anybody have any questions for me before I wrap it up? Any questions? Yes?
Do you have any other jobs?
Nope, so I work for the school system. So I'm a behavior facilitator at an alternative school right now. That's what I do full time during the day.
She said, what's your name?
My name, you didn't catch it earlier? Alenia Moore. Go ahead. Yes, I have a 5-year-old daughter. So it's me and her. Yep, she just turned, she'll be 6 in March. What you mean?
Did you work like somewhere else?
Yeah,
When I was in Cincinnati? Yeah, so that's the age of back. Yeah, actually I worked in the daycare when I was in Cincinnati. I did a lot of work on campus at the University of Cincinnati. I graduated in 2007 there, so I was here from 2002 to 2007. But yeah, so I had a couple of jobs when I was here. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, well, I know y'all have to transition. I'll make sure that I have you, make sure I give you my cards if you want a card, and then we'll kind of wrap it up and go from there. If you have any personal questions, or if you want to ask me a question, then we can kind of go from there, okay? All right, well, thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much for having me. If you can just tell everyone a little bit about, the center. I know we were talking about the neighborhood of where it's at and why it's so important just for me to come in and speak with your young ladies here.
So we are located in Price Hill. This is a very impoverished city, one of the most impoverished cities in Cincinnati. So the girls that we get in here, we have the middle school and teens, I think, are the ones that most we need mentors. We don't have any mentors at the time for the girls. We have a lot of mentors for the boys. We have D2D and other programs and that come into the club to talk to our boys. But we are looking for someone to come and talk to our girls.
Okay.
That's a huge need here in the Boys and Girls Club, just because, at a certain age in a young girl's life, you start liking boys. You're confronted with a lot of things around you. Sex is a big thing.
Right.
They're exposed to so many things, and some of them are already sexually active.
Right.
And you want mentors and someone that they can look up to and talk to prevent them from getting pregnant.
Right.
Or like for instance, we had the young girl that you spoke to. Her mom couldn't go to college because she got pregnant.
Yeah.
So for her, maybe that's something that she carries on, and she feels like it can be something to push her, or it can be something that damages her.
Right.
So I do believe that the Boys and Girls Club, they really need mentors for our young women.
Okay. Is there anything as far as specifically from today that kind of you took away with that you feel like should be a little bit more embedded in them? Or, I know some of them have questions, and I know just like the young lady, 9-year-old, just like me sharing the information as far as being raised with my grandmother, and having my mom in and out, and she said the same thing at 9.
So I think the important thing about reaching the youth is talking about your personal experience.
Yeah.
You can never go in front of a group of young women and say what you expect them to do without telling them where you come from, what have been your struggles. As women, we go through a lot of things. Sometimes we've gone through trauma that we don't even know we've been through.
Yeah.
So one thing that stood out to me when you were speaking to the girls is you emphasized on their what career they wanted.
Yeah.
And how you are first generation, right, to go to college. Sometimes we're not exposed to anything that has to do with college. You know, some of us are told, like, you don't even have to go to college. College, not everybody goes to college.
Right.
And just that alone, it's a fear. College is something that's viewed as like a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm able to accomplish that just because they're not exposed to that.
Exactly.
And just when you're getting closer in high school to college, to applying to a college, it's like overwhelming because you're like, I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
Because you can't go to your mother or your father that they're not educated.
Exactly.
Because they don't know what the process is to get into college. I'm first generation to go to college, so I know what the struggle was to even sign up. What's financial aid?
Exactly.
You know,
FAFSA,
like
what is
it?
Yeah.
So you know, it could be a fear, like the young lady said. I don't know if I'm gonna go to college.
Exactly.
You know, and all that comes with maybe her family not going to college. It's like, what step do I have to take? Who can I talk to? So like I said, with mentors coming in here, that can be a push or help for them to get motivated to go to college. So it's not something that they fear, but it's something that they're really looking forward to.
Exactly.
Which that stood out to me, just you asking them what they want to be when they get older, what are they doing, or who are they surrounding themselves with right now to get them, because that's very important. You know, we have a lot of toxic friendships and a lot of friends that gossip and gossip and gossip. Every time you come around some friends, that's all they want to do. And it's either they're uplifting you and pushing you to do better, or they're dragging you along with whatever dysfunction that they're in. So I think that's one thing that stood out to me when you spoke to the young ladies. And it's just with them, it's having that person that they can talk to, like you said, that looks like them, that are going through that have gone through a similar struggle. Because sometimes, you know, the young women view us as being older. We don't know what they're going through, but it's like we were preteens at one point.
Like
we had an attitude. We know we didn't like our parents at one point, and it's hard, especially for them now. There's a lot of bullying, and there's a lot of stuff that they're exposed to, not only like in school but in the internet. You know, it's like social media, you make one mistake, you talk to the wrong boy, and something blows up on the internet. Where, you know, we have problems like Carson down the street with suicide, and just a lot of stuff that they're being exposed to, that I think if we have people who can come in and talk to them, and because let's be real, sometimes you have to, like, I know I talk to my preteens about some stuff that it's like, you know, what happens in here stays in here. You know, like no one talks about it once we leave the room. And we have our heart to hearts where it's just like, so hey girls, what's up? What happened this weekend? And girls just start pouring out, oh, so I was in school and this girl did this to me and this and that, and it's like, okay, they probably don't have anybody to talk to. This is a time where we can talk about stuff, and I can give them that advice. One thing that it's really common is fighting. Because you know, girls can be mean. Girls can be mean, and one thing we do talk about is like when you say something, you can't take it back. So you can say something to somebody to bully them. They might not forget that. They can carry that on until they're 20, 25, 30. So always be careful what you say to somebody, because
and that's what I was going to say too. It's funny that you said that, because I never forget. I always tell them an example. You can bully somebody when you're in high school, but then what happens if 10 years later you're going for a job and they're the person interviewing you?
You never know. So you have to be
so
very mindful.
Yes.
Of what you say and do. Especially if you want to be a professional growing up, or you want to be very involved in the community, you have to really make sure your image is good and it's not, you know, contaminated or just
tarnished as far as your brand. And I think that that's important, because just like you said, the key thing is how can we want to go to college? How can we want this career if all we know is the opposite? You know, so I think that that's very, very important, especially when it's, you know, just like playing on a name, you know, more out of life. How can I push to get more out of life if this is the life that I only know and this is only what I'm exposed to? So I think that that's very, very important from the things that the young lady said, you know, from not knowing if she want to go to college because no one's never been, you know, just like you said, first generation, that fear of the unknown, you know, the fear of the unknown. What does this look like, or could this even happen to me? I don't even know if it's, you know, the self-worth, the self-confidence. And I think that's the key thing that we're very, very much more need to instill in our young ladies.
Yeah, just kind of like drilling in their heads like, hey, there are people who are willing to help you.
And showing them.
Yeah, and I also feel like it's amazing how somebody, maybe they're not going, they don't know what it is to, whatever you're trying to help them with, they're not going through it just yet. But when they get to the point where they have to sign up for VASFA,
right,
or they're like an assignment at school, hey, try to find a mentor, somebody that you can talk to, they can automatically think of you like, oh yeah, this one woman did come into our room and she said if we need any questions, have any questions, they can easily contact you or some, because I mean, we do need mentors. I mean, I know I have a mentor, and it's very helpful if I ever need something, or if I just anything, it could really be anything. My mentor is there to help me. So I mean, that's
thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, we are here in Price Hill, Cincinnati, Ohio. Really just reaching out to the young ladies here that are at the Boys and Girls Club. Thank you so much. Get more out of life. Stay focused, dream big, and never give up.
My name is Kevin Bostetter. I have been with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati for about 4 years. We are always constantly looking for positive role models for our children. We serve kids from K through 12th grade. And Ms. Moore reached out to me, talking to me about her program and giving me some of her background about what she does. And I absolutely wanted to bring her here to Cincinnati, here to Shakely Boys and Girls Club, just to talk to our kids. I was impressed with her initiative and the willingness to come to Cincinnati to come and speak to our kids. Again, as I said, we are always looking for positive and encouraging role models for our kids to look up to. And Ms. Moore definitely fits that. So I wanted her to be able to come and speak with all of our girls, grades 4 through 12, just to give them you know, encouragement and to show what adults are doing, not just here in Cincinnati, but outside of Cincinnati and outside of Ohio. I believe you can never have enough positive support. And so Ms. Moore was able to come in through, speak to our 6th and 7th grade, or excuse me, our 4th through 8th graders, and then she was able to do some one-on-ones with our 9th through 12th graders, which is some things that we're just not able to do. We don't have the ability to do that. So she was able to speak to some of our girls and encourage them and to have them dream big and focus on their goals. And those are messages that our kids that we serve in these neighborhoods in inner city and in poverty stricken areas, they just can't get those messages enough, and they can never hear that message of you can do it. We believe that despite what you look like, despite your zip code, that you can do great things. And Ms. Moore was just encouraging our ladies to do those same things that we try to encourage our kids to do every single day. So I was glad that she was able to be here. Hopefully she'll be able to come back. She was great. I already got some great feedback from our kids saying how she was cool, and I could kind of get what Ms. Moore was talking about. So it was cool for me to kind of hear that, and so I was glad that she was able to make time for us, and hopefully she can come back again.
You've just witnessed another Noise production, bringing all your imaginations to life.